This conference will now be recorded.
Okay. So today we are going to see about the midline structures of the neck. Okay. So now just see this picture. You know, neck is the region which connects the head and the trunk. Okay. It is bounded above by the base of the mandible, which extends from symphysis mantae and up to the angle of the mandible. Then draw a line which connects the angle of the mandible to the mastoid process. So if you see, this is the superior boundary, and inferior starts from the medial end of the clavicle, then it runs along the clavicle, then it reaches the acromion process of the scapula, then in the back it reaches up to the 7th cervical spine. So behind, actually, if you see, if a line is extending behind from the mastoid process, it goes along the superior nuchal line, then it ends at the external occipital protuberance. From there, if you draw a line straight away connecting to the 7th cervical spine, then it marks the posterior midline boundary of the neck. So anteriorly in the midline, line will extend from the symphysis mantae to the suprasternal notch. Okay, so these are the boundaries of the neck. Okay, so now if you see the midline of the neck, actually the midline of the neck, we will study by dividing this into two parts. So before that, so you know this anterior median line extends from symphysis mantae to suprasternal notch. So this is the symphysis mantae and here is the suprasternal notch, you can see, and these are the medial ends of the clavicle. Okay, so in between the line you can see the hyoid bone. Okay, so now the midline of the neck extends from symphysis mantae to suprasternal notch. Okay, so if you see the divisions of the midline of the neck, actually it is divided into two parts by the hyoid bone. Okay, you can see the hyoid bone in between. So the hyoid bone divide the midline of the neck into two parts. One above the hyoid bone, this part is called as the suprahyoid part. Okay, you can see the suprahyoid part. This is the suprahyoid part above the hyoid bone, and next one will be the infrahyoid part below the hyoid bone. Okay, so according for our convenience, we will divide the midline structures into two parts, suprahyoid part and infrahyoid part. Okay, now you can see the extension of the infrahyoid part, that is below the hyoid bone, so which extends from hyoid bone to the suprasternal notch. Okay, so now we'll see about the suprahyoid part of the midline structures of the neck. So you know suprahyoid part is the part above the hyoid bone. So from superficial to deep, if you see the structures seen in the midline, the first one is the skin. So you can see the skin. So after removing the skin, the next layer you will get is the superficial fascia. So which consists of platysma muscle. You can see the platysma muscle interlacing here in the suprahyoid part. And the next will be the, underlying that will be the deep fascia. So you know the deep fascia is otherwise called cervical fascia. Actually it has three layers, investing layer, pretracheal layer and prevertebral layer. So now just underlying the superficial fascia, so you will have the investing layer of deep cervical fascia. Okay, so in this picture you can see the deep fascia here. So A is the investing layer of deep cervical fascia and B is the pretracheal layer, which consists of two layers here. Okay, and the D will be the prevertebral layer. Okay, so now if you see the other structures in the suprahyoid part, so suprahyoid part also consists of suprahyoid muscles. Okay, there are four suprahyoid muscles. So actually there are muscles will be there, and deep superficially you have the digastric muscle. Okay, in this picture you can see the green color one, that is the digastric muscle, which consists of two belly. So this one is the anterior belly and here is the posterior belly, and the superficial muscle is the stylohyoid, which crosses the intermediate tendon of the digastric and gets attached to the hyoid bone. So there are two superficial muscle, one is the digastric and next one will be the stylohyoid. The digastric consists of anterior belly and posterior belly, and the center part is called as the intermediate tendon. Okay. Now, if you see the deep muscles of the suprahyoid muscles, so there are two suprahyoid muscles in the deep part. One is the mylohyoid muscles. See, you can see the red color one here is the mylohyoid, which lies deep to the anterior belly of digastric. Then, if you remove the mylohyoid, you can see another deep muscle, that is geniohyoid. Okay, so these are the four suprahyoid muscles seen in the suprahyoid part of the midline structures of the neck. Okay, so posterior belly of digastric will not be seen in the midline, and even the stylohyoid will not be seen in the middle. So only you can see the mylohyoid and anterior belly of digastric in the anterior median line. Okay, in the lateral view you can see these two muscles in the midline. Okay, so now if you go to the next thing, so the suprahyoid part, you can identify this muscle. So this muscle is the mylohyoid, and here is the anterior belly of digastric. Now you can see a fibrous raphe will extending from symphysis mentae to the hyoid bone. So where this two side mylohyoid muscles, they meet to form the oral diaphragm or diaphragma oris. Okay, so that's about the suprahyoid part. So the suprahyoid part extends from symphysis mentae to the hyoid bone. So from superficial to deep, it consists of skin, superficial fascia with platysma, and investing layer of deep cervical fascia. Other than this, you have cutaneous nerves and vessels. Okay, and you have two suprahyoid muscles here. One is the anterior belly of digastric, another one is mylohyoid. And you can see a fibrous raphe extending from symphysis mentae to the hyoid bone, where this two side mylohyoid muscles, they meet to form the oral diaphragm. Okay, that's all about the suprahyoid part. Then next we'll go on to the before going into infrahyoid part, you know the suprahyoid part, it larges a triangle, which is a part of the anterior triangle, that is a submental triangle. So you know about the submental triangle. Actually, the submental triangle is present below the mental region. Okay, there is symphysis mentae. So it is bounded below by the body of the hyoid bone, on either side laterally by the anterior belly of digastric. Okay, the floor is formed by the mylohyoid muscle. The roof will be, as usual, it is formed by skin, superficial fascia with platysma, and investing layer of deep cervical fascia. So these are the boundaries of the submental triangle. If you see the contents of the submental triangle, so which is also the content of the suprahyoid part are the submental lymph nodes. You can see the submental lymph nodes in between two anterior belly of digastric, just below the symphysis mentae, and you can see the veins starting off anterior jugular vein in this region. Okay, so that's all about the suprahyoid part and submental triangle. Next we'll go on to the infrahyoid part. So you know the part below the hyoid bone is called infrahyoid part, which extends from the hyoid bone to the suprasternal notch. Okay, so you can see here it is extending from hyoid bone to suprasternal notch, and it is also bounded on either side by the sternohyoid and the sternothyroid muscle. Okay, so both these muscles are infrahyoid muscles. You can see the sternohyoid muscle superficially, and after removing the sternohyoid, you can see the sternothyroid muscle. So lateral to sternohyoid muscle will be the omohyoid muscle. This muscle is the omohyoid muscle. Okay, I think you are clear about the infrahyoid part. Okay, so next you will see what are the structures you will see in the midline part of the infrahyoid part. So I just see the picture here. So the first structure what will you see is the body of the hyoid bone. So this is the hyoid bone. So this part is called as the body of the hyoid bone. So you will see in the midline. And next structure will be the thyrohyoid membrane. Okay, so thyrohyoid membrane will connect the hyoid bone to the thyroid cartilage. Okay, and next will be the infrahyoid bursa. That is, it is a bursa just below the hyoid bone. And the fourth one will be the angle of the thyroid cartilage. So this is called angle of thyroid cartilage. Okay, and the fifth structure will be the median cricothyroid ligament. And the sixth one will be the cricothyroid branch of the superior thyroid artery, which I have not shown in this picture. Okay, and the seventh one will be the arch of the cricoid cartilage, and the 8th one will be the cricotracheal membrane, and the 9th one will be the cervical part of the tracheal. So this is after the cricoid cartilage, you can see the tracheal rings. This is the tracheal ring. Okay, so in front of the second, third, and fourth tracheal ring, you can see the thyroid gland, isthmus of the thyroid gland. So the 9th structure in the infrahyoid part is the cervical part of trachea, and the 10th one will be the isthmus of the thyroid gland. Other than this, you have few structures also. So I think now you are clear. I will see, I'm going to tell detailing about all the structures in the next slide. Okay, so first we'll see the infrahyoid muscles. Okay, so the what are the infrahyoid muscles? There are 4 infrahyoid muscles. They are arranged in 2 groups, superficial and deep. They are also otherwise called as strap muscles. So the 2 superficial muscles are sternohyoid. You can see this in green color. This is the sternohyoid, which extends from sternum to hyoid bone. Later to that, you can see the omohyoid. So you can see the superior belly of the omohyoid. Actually, it has 2 bellies, superior belly and inferior belly. The both are connected by intermediate tendon. Okay, you will see these muscles on either side of the anterior median line. Okay, not exactly in the midline. Okay, so deep to the sternohyoid, you can see the sternothyroid muscle, and the red color one here is the thyroid, which is upward continuation of the sternothyroid. So you can see the 4 infrahyoid muscles, 2 superficial and 2 deep. These 2 superficial muscles are sternohyoid, and later to that will be the superior belly of the omohyoid. Okay. Then deep to the sternohyoid will be the sternothyroid, and the upward continuation of the sternothyroid is the thyroid. Okay. This is the lateral view. You can see the muscles here. Okay. So next we'll go on to the structures in the middle of neck in the infrahyoid part. Just see this picture. The first one is the hyoid bone. Okay. So the hyoid bone consists of body and 2 carnoid. So this is called greater carno and this is called lesser carno. Okay. So in the midline, you can see the body of the hyoid bone. So the shape of the hyoid bone is U shape. This is U shape. So it lies opposite to C3 vertebra, and it is suspended from the base of the skull by stylohyoid ligament. Just see this. This is the lateral view of the neck. So this is the styloid process, which is a part of the temporal bone, and you can see the mandible. This is the ramus of the mandible, and this is the base of the mandible. You can see the muscles here, mylohyoid and anterior belly of digastric, and this ligament is the stylohyoid ligament. Okay, so now the hyoid bone is connected to the base of the skull by a ligament. This is called stylohyoid ligament. So this hyoid bone also gives attachment to both the suprahyoid muscle and the infrahyoid muscles. Okay, so I think you are clear about the hyoid bone. So this hyoid bone will move up and down with deglutition. Okay, so next structure in the middle of the neck, the infrahyoid part, is the thyrohyoid membrane. So I already said thyrohyoid membrane. The name itself, it is thyrohyoid, that it is extends between the thyroid cartilage and the hyoid bone. See the hyoid bone above and see the thyroid cartilage, which is a shield shaped cartilage. It is one of the cartilage of larynx. It is an unpaired cartilage. Okay. So this is a lamina of the thyroid cartilage. You can see on both sides. So this anterior part of the lamina, they meets here to form the thyroid angle here. So this is called the laryngeal prominence. Okay. Now the thyroid membrane is a membrane which connects the upper border of the thyroid cartilage to the upper border of the body and greater carno of hyoid bone. Okay. And actually this is separated from hyoid bone by a bursa that is called subhyoid bursa or infrahyoid bursa, that we cannot see. After removing the membrane only we can see in the cadaver. Okay, and this important part of thyroid membrane, actually this membrane is overlapped by infrahyoid muscles on either side, and you can see an opening in the thyroid membrane. Actually this opening is due to actually the structures piercing the thyroid membrane. There are 2 structures piercing thyroid membrane. One is the internal laryngeal nerve and other one is the superior laryngeal vessels. Okay, so internal laryngeal nerve is a branch of the superior laryngeal nerve, which in turn is a branch of vagus nerve, ninth cranial nerve. Superior laryngeal vessels are branches of superior thyroid artery, which in turn is a branch of the external carotid artery. Okay. So now you are clear about the thyroid membrane and infrahead bursa. So next we'll go on to the angle of the thyroid gland. As I already said, the anterior lamina, thyroid lamina of the thyroid cartilage meets here to form the angle of the thyroid cartilage. It is also otherwise called laryngeal prominence. Actually, this is more prominent in adult males. So this is also called as Adam's apple. Okay. So this thyroid cartilage lies opposite the C4 and C5 vertebra. Okay. I think now you are clear about angle of thyroid cartilage. So next structure you will see in the infrahead part of midline of the neck is the median cricothyroid ligament. Okay, so this is the cricothyroid ligament which connects the lower border of the thyroid cartilage to cricoid cartilage. So this is the cricoid cartilage, which is a signet-shaped ring cartilage of larynx. It is also an unpaired cartilage. So the membrane connecting this two is called cricothyroid membrane. The anterior part of the cricothyroid membrane is thickened to form the median cricothyroid ligament, or it is otherwise called conus elasticus. Okay, so that's all about the median cricothyroid ligament. Next structure you will see in the midline will be the cricothyroid branch of the superior thyroid artery. It anastomoses with its opposite side artery on the surface of the ligament here. Okay. So next in seventh structure will be the arch of cricoid cartilage. This is the arch of the cricoid cartilage. Okay. So as I already said, it is a signet-shaped ring. It is an unpaired cartilage of larynx. It lies opposite to C6 vertebra. So the larynx extends up to the lower border of the cricoid cartilage. After that, the trachea starts. Okay. So now the eighth structure in the midline part here is the cricotracheal membrane. So it's from the name itself, you can tell the attachment. It extends from lower border of cricoid cartilage to first tracheal ring. Okay. So we'll go on to the next structure. The ninth structure in the midline of the neck in the infrahead part is the cervical part of the trachea. Okay. So this is a hand-drawn diagram. Okay, this is the cervical part of the trachea. Actually, the cervical part of the trachea is related anterior to the following structures. The first structure will be the isthmus of the thyroid gland, so which lies opposite to the second, third, and fourth tracheal ring, which is very clinically important. Okay, so above the isthmus, you can see numerous structures. The first one, so you can see the superior thyroid artery, which is a branch of external carotid artery. So actually, the anterior branch of superior thyroid artery, it anastomoses above the isthmus with its opposite anterior branch, and it forms an anastomosis here. And you can see an extension from the isthmus. This is called as the pyramidal lobe of the thyroid gland. And one more structure, that is the levator glandulae thyroideae. So it is nothing but a fibromuscular band which extends from hyoid bone to the isthmus. So these are the structures you can see above the isthmus, and these are the structures which are related anteriorly to the cervical part of trachea. Okay. So I think now you are clear about this structure. Next we'll go on to the structures below the isthmus. Okay. So this is the isthmus part of thyroid gland. So what are the structures below the isthmus? So actually the first one will be the inferior thyroid vein. Next one will be the arteria thyroidea ema. Then third one will be the brachiocephalic artery and left brachiocephalic vein, not the right brachiocephalic, left brachiocephalic vein. And you can see some remains of thymus. I'll show in the next slide. Okay, so just see this picture. So this is the thyroid gland. Okay, you can see the arch of aorta, and this is the brachiocephalic trunk. And you can see the common carotid artery, which divides at the level of C3 and C4 into external carotid artery and internal carotid artery. You can see from external carotid artery superior thyroid artery. So I said above the isthmus, you can see the anastomosis of the anterior branch of the superior thyroid artery. Okay. And below the isthmus you can see the thyroidea ema artery, which is a branch of brachiocephalic trunk. Okay, you can see the brachiocephalic trunk in the midline. Okay, so there are two structures you can see in the midline below the isthmus. One is thyroidea ema artery and brachiocephalic trunk. Okay, if you see the vein, okay, so you can see inferior thyroid veins. Okay, so inferior thyroid veins in the midline, and you can see the left brachiocephalic vein in the midline just below the isthmus. Okay, so I think now you are clear about the structures above and below the isthmus of the thyroid gland. So next we'll see what are structures present above the suprasternal notch. So actually this space is called suprasternal space of Burns between the investing layer of deep cervical fascia. So which consists of lymph nodes and interclavicular ligament which connects the two medial lines of the clavicle. So other than this, in this picture you can see the sternocleidomastoid here. This is the sternal head of the sternocleidomastoid, and you can see the anterior jugular vein. So what are other structures you will see in the middle of the neck above the suprasternal notch? Jugular venous arch. You can see the jugular venous arch which connects the anterior jugular vein. Okay, and other than this you can see the sternal head of the sternocleidomastoid muscle. Okay, so with this the structures in the middle of neck in the infrahiatal part is over. Okay, you can just revise the structures. Okay, so from above downwards you can see the just see this picture and read. So from above downwards you can see the body of the hyoid bone. Next will be the thyrohyoid membrane. So in between you have the infrahyoid bursa, then will be the angle of the thyroid cartilage. Then next will be the cricothyroid ligament here. Then arch of cricoid cartilage. Above that you will have the anastomosis between the cricothyroid branch of superior thyroid artery. Then next will be the arch of cricoid cartilage. Then next will be the cricotracheal membrane. Then you have the first tracheal ring. Then you have the cervical part of the trachea. So you above the isthmus, the structures are anastomosis between the anterior branch of superior thyroid artery, and you have the isthmus. And below the isthmus will be the inferior thyroid vein, arteria thyroidea ema, brachiocephalic artery, and remains of thymus. Okay, and above the suprasternal notch you have lymph nodes and interclavicular ligament, and you have the jugular venous arch which connecting the both the anterior jugular vein and sternal head of sternocleidomastoid muscle. Okay, so that's all about the structures in the middle of the neck. Okay, so I have actually put a few questions. For this answers you can tell at the end. Okay, so infrahead muscles are all except what are they? So keep it in mind. I'll ask at the end. So what is the answer? Okay, so I'll go to the next question. So isthmus of thyroid gland lies opposite to dash. Okay, option A is second, third and fourth tracheal ring. Option B is first, second and third tracheal ring. Option C is third, fourth and fifth tracheal ring. And D is none of the above. So keep it in mind. I'll ask at the end. Okay. So name the structures piercing the thyroid membrane. This is the third question. Okay. So remember, I'll ask at the end. Okay. So identify the shown picture. So what is this picture? This picture indicates which part of the midline structure of the neck, and identify the arrowed structures. So this is the first one. You can see the first one. This is the second one. So this is the third one. This is the fourth one. This is the fifth one. And this is the sixth one. And this is the seventh one. Okay. So you can tell the answers at the end. So with this, I'll finish the class. Okay. Thank you.